So now you know that every object belonging to the application, it could be a web application, SAP application, .NET application, GUI based application, Windows application. So any of the application, all these applications consist of objects which are having properties and methods. And QTP identifies these objects uniquely, because of which it is able to track down the object and then perform the operations on them. Let's see what happens during recording. So first QTP tries to identify each object uniquely that you record, and once that is done, it captures the properties of those objects and it saves it somewhere. It determines the object class of that object. So I'll give you an example. Now while recording the edit box, as we enter test in the edit box for agent name, what QTP does is, while recording, it first of all identifies this object. This is for class, but okay, I'll do one thing. I'll record it for agent name edit box. So as you can see, what QTP does is, first of all, while it is recording, it will make sure the object belonging to which class. So first thing what QTP does is, it will take the object class of that object, which is WinEdit in this case, and then it will save the properties of the object somewhere. All the properties as shown in the object spy are not saved with the QTP. Once QTP will save a few of the unique properties. Once it gets the uniqueness of the object, that it can uniquely identify the object in the screen, it will save those properties in a repository. Now I'll get to that repository. It is called as object repository, but before that, let us see some. Now suppose my script is recording the agent name edit box. So during recording, there are two edit boxes. So how does it identify? As I said, both the objects can belong to the same class, but that doesn't mean they have the same properties. Agent name has a different property, and QTP has recognized that, and that is why it is able to, when we run it again, it is able to put the test which we have put in this edit box and not on password. So now we'll see the objects which are recorded, the properties which are captured by QTP during recording of the object. Where are these properties saved? So this brings me to the next topic, that is object repositories. The name itself is indicative that it is a repository for objects. So basically, whatever QTP learns during recording the objects and their properties, it saves it over here. That is object repositories. So I'll show you where object repository is in QTP, but before that, as I said, if you can see, the object spy shows a lot of properties attached with the object, but as I said, QTP won't be recording all the properties. It will be taking few other properties into consideration, which will help to uniquely identify the object. Now I'll show you object repository. Now if you see an icon over here, so it looks like a drum, basically a repository where you can store the objects. So click on that icon. Now you can see on the screen, these are the different objects. Suppose I click on any one of the object. Agent name is the name of the object. It belongs to the class WinEdit. It is in local repository. I'll get to that, what is local and shared repositories, but for now the default is local repository. And you'll see that QTP has captured few of the properties, not all properties, which we have seen on object spy. Few of the properties for identifying this object uniquely. So if you see the agent name, which is the attached text, native class, edit, ordinal identifier. And another thing I would like to say, that whenever QTP adds an object to the object repository, in this case the agent name edit box. Now this edit box is a child of the login dialog box. right? This belongs to the login dialog box. So even the login dialog box is added to the object repository. That is, if you add the child object, all the parents in the hierarchy are also added. So the parent is the login box in this case. So as you can see, the flight reservation. Okay, sorry. So you can minimize this. So login is the parent object. As you can see, the name is login. The class is dialog. It's a dialog box. And when we open this, we can see different objects. OK, which is a win button. We clicked on this button and that's why it got recorded here. The agent name, the password which we have entered. All these child objects are added along with their parents. So this is how the hierarchy works in recording. Now if you see, I have clicked on password object. Now the name which you see over here is, this name is called the logical name. Logical names are mostly decided by these names are decided by QTP, but these are mostly picked up from some of the relevant common properties. Some of the relevant properties such as attached text in this case, these are predefined. I'll show you where it is predefined. There's a icon again, object identification tab, wherein you can see the settings for different objects. So now password belongs to WinEdit class. So for WinEdit class, there is a particular predefined setting that the name, logical name, will be taken from attached text. So it has taken the name password from attached text, which is password. And you can change your logical name according to your comfort. Suppose in my coding, I am not comfortable with password or some name which is relevant to me. Pass1. Suppose, for example, I have to enter two passwords, so it is a bit confusing. So one password is for login, so I can just write pass underscore login, enter. So as you can see, automatically the logical names in the script have changed. I can do this for better understanding, for better readability of the code. So pass login makes easier for me to know that this line, what this line is, it sets the password. This line sets the password for login screen. And suppose there is some other password coming up later on for some other screen, I can give the name accordingly. So next is these properties, and these properties can be changed as well. So remember guys, right now my these are the properties which are identified by QTP during recording, and this helps QTP to recognize the object uniquely during a run. But if I change the property, okay, if I see, what I've done is I just change the value, just close it, so it is saved. Now if I run, what will happen? This is my flight application. There's an option called debug from step, and there's option run from step. When you do run from step, it will run instantly. All the steps will run instantly. But when I click on debug from step, it will run step by step. So in this way, it will be you can understand in a better way. So I'm running step by step. So you have to press F11. It will take you to the next line. So what it did, it activated the window, but it's okay, 1 second. You cannot see it since it's behind the application, so I have done it manually. Now see, I am executing the next line. Okay, I'll just minimize this. I have executed the next line, F11. So it clicks on the tab button and takes me to the password. Now I pressed F11. Now QTP is searching for the password edit box with the properties which it identified during recording. Now remember guys, we changed the property of the password. So let's see what happens. So as you can see, there is a run error. QTP cannot identify the object since we changed the property of the object. So it's showing failed, and this is the test results pop-up. I'll explain about this later on.